Breaking alert to everyone who actually watches the trenches. Something big just rippled through a couple of NFL front offices, and if you blink, you'll miss the kind of move that flips a season on its head. No fluff, no rumor farm nonsense. This one came dressed in real shoes. Keep your notifications on mute and your mind open. Because what I'm hearing would change how Chicago plays offense on first down. On 3rd and 3, and in January when it gets cold and mean, here's the promise. I'm going to walk you through why a certain NFC coaching staff started privately asking, what if we just add the sledgehammer and stop pretending finesse is enough? We'll map the timeline, talk price versus impact, the cap math that makes it possible, how it shifts Caleb's job from rescue us to pilot us, and what it would force defenses to give up. We'll also talk culture, Hall is Hall, hard standards, and whether the guy in question matches a locker room that now actually expects to win. You want substance? You're going to get it. But not yet. Hold the reveal. You're watching Bears News Fan Report, where we love this team loud, argue like siblings, and still read the fine print on any shiny headline. If this is your kind of football, talk smart, stubborn, and a little petty, ride with us. Hit that like so the algorithm remembers your face. And subscribe so you don't miss the next twist in this. Rebuild, that's not really a rebuild anymore. Let's set the scene. Chicago's offense has bite, but the bite needs a jaw. The short yardage voice has been shaky. The red zone asks for a bully and sometimes gets a handshake. The screen game flashes, the spacing can hum, the QB can spin fireworks from nothing but structure wins in this league. When you pour concrete at running back, everything stands straighter. Play action pulls deeper. RPOs stop being polite suggestions. And your OC can call sequences instead of emergency tricks. The defense across from us has been getting too comfortable sitting light boxes and still surviving. That's disrespectful. You punish that by making 4 yards look cheap and turning safeties into linebackers by the second quarter. Chicago's line has nastiness in it. When you marry that with a back who turns glances into gashes, the conversation changes from "can we?" to "you can't stop us without paying somewhere else." Philosophy time. A real 3-down back isn't a luxury. It's the steering wheel. You want pass pro that lets your QB hit a second hitch? Need a check down that isn't just survival. It's punishment? Want your boot game to mean something when defenders stop respecting the handoff? Then you need a star who treats the A gap like a suggestion and the B gap like a highway on ramp. And if that star can line up in the slot, run a real route tree, and not tip your tendencies, now you're building something that travels. The league context matters. Contenders are hoarding touches for blue-chip skilled talent because postseason games squeeze possessions. You don't chase explosive plays with speeches. You recruit them by name. In a conference where the margins are a blade, one elite playmaker can be the difference between crying and weak, 18 and popping confetti in the divisional dot. So, yeah, smoke. You've seen the scattered tea leaves, a couple of personnel people poking around what would it cost, agents testing the temperature with coy little hints, a few NFC teams laying ground cover stories about value at RB, while obviously eyeing actual value at RB. Chicago's been doing adult due diligence on upgrades that tilt the table, not just add a sticker. And one name keeps bouncing around the room like a pinball with the bumper set to insane. Before we open the envelope, let's be honest about need. This offense doesn't need a celebrity. It needs inevitability. 5 yards on schedule. 1st and 10 that turns into 2nd and 4 without drama. A screen that scares corners into tackling with their eyes closed. That's not fireworks, it's gravity. And the guy we're talking about is gravity. Deep breath. Here comes the sentence that'll make a few NFC people spit out their coffee. Bijan Robinson. To the Chicago Bears, that's the concept buzzing behind the scenes. Now we can talk in full sentences. Bijan is not a nice to have. He is a multiplier. You put him in navy and orange, and everything gets easier. Wide zone becomes a dare. Duo turns boring into brutal. counter breaks pursuit angles. And your empty sets become a riddle because the back split wide isn't a decoy. He's a problem. He gives you answers on first down and clean pockets on third. He punishes light boxes and humiliates tacklers who think shoulder checks are still a thing. Timeline and mechanics. Grown-up version. He's on a rookie deal with the option year runway translation. Cost control prime. That alone is why phone calls get made. To pry him loose, you're talking premium assets. Teams don't move blue chips unless the return lets them fix 2 or 3 problems in one memo. So if you're living in Fantasyland offering a mid-round and a handshake, wake up. We're discussing a bold swing, an early pick and a sweetener, maybe a player that fills an immediate need on the other side. Painful? Yes, that's the tax for elite.cap calculus. Chicago can justify this if the structure matches the build. Cheap start today, extensions elsewhere tomorrow, and the scary part, the second contract still a couple winters away. And before you hit panic about paying ARB, remember, windows are windows. You pay for wins that stack right now while your QB is stepping into superstardom, not for theoretical spreadsheets 5 years out. The art is avoiding handcuffs, later bonus triggers, option year timing, roster flexibility. All doable if you're disciplined. On-field fit with Caleb. This is the part I could talk about all night. Bijan shifts defense math immediately. You go from too high comfort to safety creep. You pull nickel backs into the run fit, and when they step forward, Caleb's glance routes and glance and go shots start eating. RPOs stop being cute, they're a cudgel. The boot game stop being please bite and becomes we know you will. And in empty, Bijan versus a linebacker is just deft. That's free yards that feel illegal. Short yardage and 4 minutes. You know the drill. November win, 3rd and 2. Everybody in the stadium knows what's coming, and Chicago still bleeds the clock. That is demoralization. That wins divisions. That protects a defense that's already mean and keeps it fresher in the 4th. Offensive identity isn't a quote. It's a play you call when the whole bar knows the call, and you get it anyway. Culture check. Hollis Hall doesn't need more celebrity. It needs professionals who show up, shut up, and punch the clock. Everything about Bijan screams detail freak. Tracks, tempo, patience to the landmark, violence through the finish, then pop up and hand the ball to the ref. He's the rare highlight reel who also likes 3-yard body shots. You can build Sundays around that. You can build January around that .risk column. Because this is Chicago, and we don't do fairy tales without the caution label. Running back is a mileage position. Usage gets political. The price tag stings. If the number climbs from bold to reckless, you pass. If the other side wants to fix their whole depth chart on your dime, you hang up. And if you can't protect the investment with the right rotation and snap economy, you're just lighting candles and hoping the football gods are bored. Counter arguments. You'll hear this week, never pay for RB. Cute, but incomplete. The rule is never overpay for replaceable RB. Bijan is not replaceable. He's the top 1% of a volatile position, and those outliers break rules. Another one, we need picks to fill holes. Picks are scratch-off lottery tickets. Sometimes you hit. Sometimes you pour another coffee. If the ticket you're buying is a guaranteed star and the timing fits your arc, that's where the rule bends. What it costs in Chicago terms. You probably say goodbye to a day 1 pick and a meaningful day 2 chip. Maybe you include a player at a spot where you're deeper than you think. The math hurts, which is why it might be worth it. The point isn't to win the press conference. It's to walk into Detroit in December with an offense that can bully without apology and strike. Without mercy. What it unlocks for the rest of the roster. Your WR2 gets cleaner looks. Your tight end eats on seams when safeties take the cheese. Your QB's hits per dropback go down because teams can't tee off. And your Oka, bless him, finally calls games like a man holding a loaded deck. That's worth something. That's worth a lot. Contingency planning. If the sticker price crosses the line, there are other backs you can target: rotation guys, specialty threats, cheaper upgrades. But let's be adults. None of them are Bijan. You make this call because you want certainty when the league gets mean. You do it to set a tone that says, we're not hoping to be good. We're choosing it. So where do I land on fact versus fiction? Right now, this lives in the serious rumor neighborhood. Real curiosity, exploratory temperature checks, a path that exists on paper if both sides choose discomfort in the name of progress. No parades planned. No hats printed. But this isn't Twitter fog either. It's an idea with scaffolding. Your turn, drop it in the comments with your name on it. Would you sign off on a bold package for Bijan if it means bullying the division and lightening Caleb's load right now? What's your hard ceiling on price? And if you're out, who's your plan B that isn't just another body, but an honest-to-God solution? My personal opinion, if the cost is bold but sane, I'd make the move because Bijan Robinson in Chicago turns Sundays into statements. And yes, today it's still a speculation, not a confirmed deal.